Hello, I'm Saskia Liebenberg and I work at Monzo Bank, leading research operations with a team of 15 researchers and many, many people who do research. I've been working in this field of research ops for around 6 years now. I live in Newcastle in the northeast of the UK by the sea, and I love all things research ops. So I'm really grateful to have this opportunity to speak about my favorite topic with you. And the theme I'd like to explore with you today is this, that operations can only take you so far in this journey of democratized research. So, our theme is operationalizing democratized research. And I want to unpack that a little bit. First of all, democratization is about making the doing of research accessible to non researchers. And operationalizing is about making the doing of research ready for use, making it functional. So the question is, how can research ops have the most impact in making it possible for non-researchers to do their own research in a good or good enough way? And the key here is operations only takes you so far. There's this fallacy that anyone can do research and it's really easy and straightforward. We just need the ops. But then it doesn't go so well and non-researchers are completely overwhelmed. And it can feel like a failure on ops' part. But the reality is anyone can do some research. Not everyone can be a researcher, and therefore there are limits to what a research ops function can do to operationalize democratized research. And I think where research ops can have the most impact is being clear and realistic about what types of research we can operationalize 100%. And then not expecting everyone to actually become a researcher or a de facto researcher, because operations can only take you so far on this journey. So, what does that mean? Let's look at what you can operationalize to the max. This is what I have in mind when I talk about some research can be operationalized. It's specific types of research that is more evaluative to validate or refine or unblock within a defined problem space. And it's key either low risk or repeatable parts of existing roles in line with the expectations and the function of that role. And it's focused on methods that fit into those roles. So, unmoderated usability testing for a designer, or proposition testing for a product marketing manager, or copy testing or messaging testing for a writer. Not asking them to run a diary study end to end to define the future of the product. And that means we need to do these three things to really fully operationalize it. We need to fit it in their workflows. We need to enable them to build it from templates, and we need to lean heavily on good tools. It's really important to make sure that we don't just take what works for researchers and lift and shift it for the non researchers. It really needs to be reimagined to fit into their process and their tool stack with the lowest entry bar possible, or they will find another way. Templates really are the name of the game here. Self serve, with guidance built in, easy to copy and get to a good enough place in a couple hours to get started. And then tools play such an important role, not only in having reactive switched on support teams that can troubleshoot and unblock non researchers and anything they're struggling with, but in enabling you to actually build in the guardrails and compliance when it comes to things like data governance, permissions, etc. And you can really heavily lean on your tool stack to do the lifting here and to be the support on this journey. And the result is that research isn't a gatekeeper or a bottleneck for people to be able to do their jobs. And researchers can then focus on the more complex or higher risk research, things that are a bit more discovery or generative, defining that problem space or understanding user needs, etc. And on then developing research capability in some people. And that's the second part of this, which is almost the flip side of the fully operationalized coin. And it's not to say that there isn't operations here, but good operations alone isn't going to cut it for this. And this is where we're talking about maybe a bit more open ended, more generative, more nuanced or complex types of research. It's less templated, less rinse and repeat. And of course, we can develop training, we can develop guidelines, playbooks, give people access to the right tooling, etc. But really, that's not enough. They need to also have the affinity to do it, the confidence, and the capacity to get stuck in and learn how to do the research. And that's not really something that's fully operationalizable. It's something that's developed over time. And it's also not something we can expect of everyone. As we know, of course, everyone should be involved in research. Research is a team sport. This poster from the Government Digital Services in the UK is a good reminder of this. Operations plays a great role in enabling people to have access to existing research and getting involved in it. And this is a really good way for the researchers to then identify who has that interest and affinity that they can develop further. So things like access to research calendars or sessions coming up, observer rooms where they can view and take notes, note-taking templates, easy access to research findings or research plans, etc. All of that's not enough, though. The real game changer here is when researchers can coach those non researchers one to one and build up their exposure and confidence in doing research over time. So, how I've seen this work well is to start with something basic like note taking, have them be the lead note taker during the sessions, then maybe have them moderate some of the sessions, maybe have them lead some of the material development or the analysis workshops and collaborate really closely together on that to build that confidence. So this is much more researcher led in small groups or maybe even one to one. It's a lot more intensive and a lot more in the moment. But it really helps to coach the non researcher through all of these phases, helping them to get to a really good setup. And it takes time. It's not going to solve any capacity issues right away. Again, operations is supporting here in the coaching process with things like research office hours, training courses or modules that people can do, clear guidelines, access to the right tools, etc. But the game changer here is really that researcher ability to coach and enable and build confidence in the context, as well as the non researcher having that interest and the capacity to spend the time and develop their skills. So, in summary, this is how I think research ops can really set democratized research up for success by being clear and realistic about what types of research we can fully operationalize and when and who we should enable to do more capital R research. So, anyone can do some research, and this is where we can really operationalize fully, but not everyone can be a researcher. That's more of a long game. And operations can really only take you so far.